Good afternoon, friends. I welcome Secretary Drinking Water and Sanitation, who is chairing this meeting with the states and the third party inspection agencies that have been engaged under the JJM. Ma'am, we have the state level nodes logging in an interactive mode. We also are live on YouTube for the benefit of those TPIA staff who would like to listen to the interaction only in the listening mode.
Right.
Uh, Ma'am, I'd request for some opening remarks from you, and then we have a few presentations. One presentation from the NJJM side in terms of what are the quality aspects, what are some of the good and bad ways of doing things. Then we've also included a presentation from Tata Consultant TCE Engineers, who is one of the TPIAs in JJM. So they'll be sharing in terms of what they are doing. We'll also listen to a couple of national wash experts who have made visits and have certain observations. So they'll share their observations. We'll also listen to the interventions from Chhattisgarh and Karnataka in terms of how they are taking care of quality aspects, and then open for any questions, discussions, interaction, and then sum up and close.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you, Vikas, and thank you, friends from states and all the TPIA representatives who are with us today. This is the first formal interaction we are having directly with the TPIAs. Of course, with the states, we meet and discuss very frequently. When we meet the states, we do discuss aspects relating to quality and to the role of the TPIAs also. So we have some feedback, but from the directly interacting with the TPIAs, this is a good effort by the National Jal Jeevan Mission, and I hope it will prove useful. As you all know, the Jal Jeevan Mission is a very ambitious program, and we are now at a very advanced stage, in some ways an inflection point, where this year we are expecting to see very rapid progress in almost all states and UTs. Of course, we already have some states and UTs which have achieved 100% functional household tap connections, but in some of them also there is some augmentation work still going on. You also know that in terms of reach, we are looking at almost 6 lakh villages in the country. We are looking at a population which is huge in terms of households. You know, we are looking at covering a total of 19.4 crore or so. And currently, we are on the verge of touching about 12 crore. So, there is a lot of work needed to be done, and it is being done. So, the good thing also is that year on year, massive expenditures are being made by the central and state and UT governments together. So, from an expenditure total by both the center and the states and UTs put together of about 10,000 crore in the first year, it jumped up to 20,000 crore, then 44,000 crore. Last year, we spent collectively in the last year alone over 90,000 crore rupees on Jal Jeevan Mission. And this year we are looking at even higher, significantly higher outlays, significantly higher work. ये बाद में करो बेटा, बाद में आइए. So it is therefore critical that we make sure that while we are putting in all our energies, efforts, a lot of attention is going into taking up the works, implementing them quickly, we have to be very conscious of the need to maintain quality at all times. And we know that if we don't take care of the quality of the material we are using, especially pipes, but also other material, and also we don't take care of the practices followed. If the pipes are not laid at the right depth, even good quality pipes will run the risk of damage, and a damaged distribution pipe is a very clear danger to the quality of water supply and contaminated water supply will lead to the diseases which we are trying to prevent by giving piped water supply connections. So, criticality of ensuring quality of material, quality of implementation is obvious. I must share with all of us present today that at the highest levels, there is a strong concern and a direction that we must be very, very conscious of the need to maintain quality at all times. And so I hope that the discussions that take place today will be geared towards seeing how the third party inspection agencies are working on ground to ensure quality. We hope that you have enough manpower required to take a proper assessment of the works being done so that the works don't get delayed, payments don't get delayed on account of your reports. We hope that your manpower on ground is sufficiently skilled, that you put in place proper systems to make sure that they have the required capacities and competencies. And we hope that the systems are working smoothly and efficiently. And we will look forward to the close collaboration and support of all the third party inspection agencies with the state governments, working with our national wash experts, our NJJM teams, and others to make us all proud of this massive effort that the country is making and the huge amount of resources, both human and financial, that are being put into this effort to provide potable drinking water to our entire rural population. With that, Vikas, I hand back to you for taking the proceedings forward.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Mr. Rana R.K. Singh to make a short presentation on the quality aspects under the Jal Jeevan mission. Uh, Rana, I do.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So very good afternoon. Hope I'm audible. So today I'm going to talk about the assuring quality of implementation JGM. And my presentation will be based on the field visits to various states. So my focus will be mainly the role and expectation from the TPI and what are the main quality issues on the ground. And we have given some best practices also. Next, please. So first thing that why we need the quality monitoring system. So as you all are aware that our JGM goal is to provide adequate quantity, good quality of water on a regular and sustainable basis. But during field visit, we observed that this functionality is not meeting the required standards. Maybe perhaps that we haven't given importance to the quality in the design stage or maybe implementation stage. So if we give the proper importance to the quality from the start of the project, then we can avoid this kind of problem. Second, our objective is that we design the system for ultimate design period maybe 30 years. But while going through the schemes and reviewing the DPR, what we come to know that even that some schemes have been implemented on the ground 5 years back and 10 years back, but they are not providing the intended services. So we are replacing the pipe material, we are replacing the tank. So why this is happening? Maybe that either the materials, what has been used on the site, that's not of good quality, or maybe that workmanship and the quality monitoring system not appropriate. So we need to give focus on the quality during the implementation stage. Most important thing that even if DPR has been prepared with the standard design guidelines, we have to make sure that on the ground, the infrastructure is created in line with the approved DPR and approved practices. So we also observe that DPR certain items, the specifications have been given. However, ground is not happening in the same way. So agency has to check those requirements. I think you will agree that at some places, especially in the village area, we don't have the very qualified and experienced contractor. And even some of the engineers, site engineers from contractor side, they're not able to read the structural drawings. So we need to provide assistance to them and have the proper check and balance so that work can be done in the proper manner. Other important thing that if we have the proper quality management system, certainly we can have like a right at first time approach and we can avoid the rework. So if you are avoiding the rework, that means we can save the time, we can save the cost. Right? Health and safety is also important aspects. We have to ensure that whoever the workers are working the site, there is a proper barricade, there is proper PPE used. So that's the role of the TPI agency to ensure those things. And last but not least, that operation and maintenance, if our design is good, implementation is good, certainly we are going to have very efficient operation maintenance system. We can avoid the leakage, we can have like a better efficiency of the treatment plant and pumping system, and ultimately we are going to save the money. So that's the key elements why we need the quality monitoring system. Now, how we should be doing the quality monitoring system. So although the prime responsibility of the quality monitoring, especially on the site construction work, lies with the field staff, mainly J and E, but what will be good that if we have proper mechanism to monitor the quality, also 3-tier system we can adopt. At the very first level on the ground, JE, AE can give maximum input on the quality monitoring, and maybe on sample basis, random basis, E can also take the responsibility of the quality monitoring. And some states are following that they have quality monitoring cell. It will be good to have the quality monitoring cell each state, and they can do some surprise inspection on site, maybe by chief engineer, maybe MD of the states, to ensure that how the quality is happening. We are going to discuss about manual third-party inspection agency. As per JGM operational guideline, clause 9.6, SDLSM has to impanel the third-party inspection agency for the material testing, for the quality testing on the ground. But what we noticed that on the ground, the TPI agency, there are two issues. Number one, the manpower deployed at the site is not adequate. And number two, they don't have the right capability, the capacity, the experience to monitor the work. So what will be good that if we plan the manpower of the site, we have the right engineers who have the experience on the field, combination of civil engineer, electromechanical engineers who can justify the work in proper way. Also, it's important to involve the community also. So if you see the JGM operational guideline clause 3.6, they suggest that there should be community involvement in the joint inspection. And it's my personal observation, wherever we have visited and wherever there's active participation of community, we found the quality of work is good. Even though site engineers, they are not able to tell how the pipe has been laid, but local community, they were aware that where pipe has been laid, what depth has been laid. So it's good to involve the community from the beginning of the project. And of course, at the central level, we have various visits by JGM team. We have in panel also national VAS experts. They are visiting different schemes and they are giving input on the report and those things. Second important aspect, that at what stage quality monitoring should be done. So my view is that the quality monitoring should be from the beginning of the project. As soon as you conceive the project, in the planning and design stage, execution stage, commissioning stage, every stage we have to give the importance, because all the stages are interlinked. If our design is not good, whatever the quality monitoring system are adopting in the implementation stage is not going to solve the purpose, and the vice versa. Now, I have tried to mention some of the key roles of the TPI agency. Generally, most of the places, what I could find that TPI has the mandate to measure and verify the bill. But the role actually TPI starts as soon as we award the work on the site. So same time TPI should be deployed, and we actually start the work on the ground. TPI should be engaged into review of the documents. So TPI staff, they must have the copy of the DPR, tender document, work order, all statutory approval, IS codes, so that they can understand about the project. What is my project? So they should know the benchmark, what is my requirement, and what I'm going to inspect. Second part is about the development of quality assurance plan. This is very important aspects. Normally what I have seen, the good contractor, they have their own quality assurance plan. Wherever the small contractor, normally they are not familiar with the quality assurance control plan. So this is basically a roadmap which gives like, okay, how the quality system be managed, what kind of material should be tested, when it should be tested, what should the frequency of the test, how the quality will be monitored. So these things TPI agency can facilitate to a state government, to the contractor, to develop the roadmap. Other important things that each project scheme will have different nature, different component. So it will be good to have like a checklist of the parameter, how we are going to monitor and check the different components. And one issue, what I observed on the site, that TPI, they are not aware exactly when, at what time, which activity is going to start. Because one of the TPI agency, they may be involved in various schemes, maybe more than 100 or 50 schemes. So it's very important to have develop a tracker in the beginning, so that tracker can give you, okay, at what date, which time, which activity happening, so that at the critical stage of the project, right staff can go to the site and do the proper quality monitoring. It's also important to do the proper manpower planning, as we discussed in the previous slide, that we need the adequate and the appropriate manpower. So our work involves not only civil work, it also have the treatment plant, pumping house. So a lot of electromechanical equipment there. So it should be a combination of the both civil mechanical engineer, and they should be deployed as per the right time, that when the procurement process, then material testing will require. When there is execution work, then there will be like a quality monitoring construction work. So these are the pre-construction activity. When we talk about the during construction activity, there are two important aspects. One is the material testing, and second part is the sample quality of the construction work. So when we talk about the material testing, also we have somehow misunderstanding that whatever material we are bringing to the site, that already we have got the manufacturer test certificate. So that suffices the purpose. But that's not going to meet the requirement. There should be some random sampling of the construction material available site, because some state I have seen that even though we have got the right certificate, manufacturer have verified that material meets the requirement. But when sample was collected at site and sent to the independent lab, sample didn't pass. And good to know that some states also, they have banned those manufacturing company also for supplying the material. So these kind of initiative has to be taken by the state government about the random sampling of the material. When we talk about the quality of the construction work, again, like if you talk about the water supply value chain, it will have major component, intake structure, reservoir, transmission line, house connection. So each structure, they will have critical activity, maybe like for intake structure, reservoir, foundation. So what is the depth of foundation? What is the reinforcement spacing? What the cover has to provide? So all these critical stage, the TPI agency has to visit the site and examine those things. Similarly, like the transmission line. So once the pipe is being laid at the ground, that time they should ascertain that pipe has been laid at the appropriate depth and there is appropriate trench width and the proper cushion for the pipe bedding also. So we'll discuss some examples at the end of the presentation, that what are the bad practice and good practice happening to give the understanding on those aspects. About the compliance, we discussed about the DPR compliance. So what we observed on the site, that maybe some places like DPR might have been prepared 1 year, 2 years back. And due to various issues to the site condition, maybe land issue or approval issue, the location of the treatment plant or the tank might have changed. However, design is not being revised. So that it is the responsibility of the TPI agency to ensure that if there is any change of the site condition, the design has been revised accordingly. And then construction held as per the latest design. Other issue I would like to highlight about the structural drawing. Most of the DPR doesn't include the structural drawing, neither includes the geotechnical survey. So when the contractor is on the field, they do the geotechnical survey, and if you found that the DPR has been designed that is having the different geotechnical properties, so it is important to revise the structural drawing to suit the site condition, because it will have major impact. Other important aspects, the measurement of the work done by the TPI agency and recommend the payment. So here I would like to mention that recently we have visited the Assam, Lakhimpur district, and what best practice is happening there. They have developed an app, ma'am. On the app, they are entering all the details, whether pipe has been laid at the appropriate depth, whether the concrete testing be done. And once the information goes to the right concerned person, they approve the bill. So same practice can be followed for their site also. So the TPI role also starts basically once the project is completed and it's in the handover stage, the post-construction stage. So before the handover to the scheme, we have to ensure that whatever infrastructure we have created, that is serving the intended purpose. Then what if there are certain defects, that has to be rectified and that has to be recorded properly. And the most important thing, normally we have missed out that I haven't seen any project that after the construction of the project, there is a provision of the as-built drawing. It's very important because that part is going to help in the operation maintenance. And also when the future they want to give the new connection or they have to increase the network, they need the past information where my line is going. So it is the right time because most of the site work is going on. And once the work has been completed, please ensure that contractor gives the as-built drawing to the site condition. And preferably if they are able to maintain the as-built drawing, the GIS, it will be great. Similarly, asset has to be geotechnical and all the geotech assets and the drawings that has to be submitted to the state government department. Apart from the drawings, we use various kind of database, especially for electromechanical equipment. So vendor gives us the project database, they give us about the warranty of the equipment. So all these testimonies, certificates, warranty card, that has to be collected, and with the proper documentation, it has to be finally handed over to the state government. So these are the key roles of the TPI, what we have tried to summarize here. So now we'll talk about the testing of the material. So when we talk about the testing, normally we use pipes and concrete. There are two major components of the work. And any project, maybe 60 to 70% project cost lies with the pipe material. So it's important that we give emphasis on the material testing on the site. So pipes, what I have seen, mainly two kinds of pipes are being used. One, metallic pipes, I have seen that DI pipe is used, and the GI pipe, especially in the hilly region, is being used. And if you talk to plastic pipes, generally SDP and MDP used. So there are certain parameters we can see very easily, mainly physical parameters. Normally, what is the diameter of the pipe, thickness of the pipe, whether the pipe has been properly marked, IS mark or not, proper batch number, lot number given at note. So right side you can see we have taken example of the side, how it has been marked properly, IS mark, IS code and CML number, batch number also. So it's ensured that batch number, the material has been tested at least at the manufacturer end. So any person can see that those things. When we talk about the material mechanical properties, certain test has to be done on the lab. So it's important that we select the sample from the lot and then send to the approved lab for the testing. And we have to ensure that whatever test result we get, that is within the parameter. Here I would like to say that what I have seen, some states sample report is available, but they don't include all the parameters. So hardly suppose 5 tests we have to do. Maybe some places 2 parameters, some places 3 parameters. So I have also mentioned here the IS code, and IS code clearly describes that what parameter has to be tested. So please ensure when you are giving sample to the lab, all the necessary parameters are listed while you are giving sample to the lab provisions. So when we talk about the SDP pipe, the most important component is SD pipe. Especially this is a more critical area because more issues are coming in the plastic pipes. Reason may be that a lot of manufacturers, small manufacturers come in the industry and they are not ensuring the proper quality at the factory end. So it's important that we have a sample size. Also, I have given the sample size. Suppose if your pipe is up to 150 dia, at least 3 samples should be collected. If it's more than 1200, 5 samples should be collected, right? So one component is carbon black content. So very rarely I have seen that this test is being done at site. So it's not be more than 2.5%. So kindly ensure that at least when you are sending the plastic pipes to the lab, at least this parameter is tested in the lab. One important thing about the hydrostatic test, this test has to be done on site once pipe has been laid on the ground. Normally it is about 1.5 times the working pressure. But very few sites I could see that hydro testing is being done. Even though the tender document BOQ includes the hydro testing, but hardly it is being done. And that's the issue when you are handing over the scheme or commissioning the scheme, you come to know leakage is there. So what we will suggest that when you are laying the pipeline, maybe phase-wise, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, before filling the pipe or trench, kindly do the hydrostatic test and ensure that there is no leakage. So this will avoid the, again, digging out the pipe and finding where is the leakage, unnecessary delay of the project, and again, quality will be there. So about the RCC, the major component of the work is RCC, reservoir or treatment plant or tank. So major materials used in the RCC work is the sand, cement, or reinforcements. So we have given the different analysis and IS code, what should be tested. One important thing I would like to highlight is the number of samples. So when you are doing the concrete work, they just prescribe standards that what should be the number of sample, what's the frequency of the testing. So if you are doing concrete work, up to 5 cubic meter, 1 sample has to be connected. If it is more than 5 to 15, 3 sample has to be collected. So please ensure that cube of size 150, 150 is made properly. And when you are doing for sampling, ensure that sampling is done at least for 7 days and 28 days to determine the strength. Why 7 days? Because if 7 days is not meeting the criteria, maybe about 65% of strength should be in the 7 days. then straightforward that sample can be rejected. So we can't go for the 28-degree rejection. So having the proper sample and the important stage of all the construction work, proper concrete testing should be done. And here I have given like one a rebound hammer. So sometimes it may not be possible to monitor the concrete work, what kind of design mix and what actually site ratio of cement is used. So we can use the rebound hammer to ascertain that what is the strength of the concrete on the site. This is the device which I have highlighted here. This is very important. So these all are very basic instrument and digital instrument. So like for example, someone wants to measure the thickness of the pipe, they can use the digital screw gauge. If you want to measure the inside-outside diameter, you can use the digital vernier caliper, right? Similarly, if you want to know the coating, what is the thickness of the coating, that we can use by the digital zinc coating thickness instrument. So like how you are using the field test kit for different parameters. Similarly, what we can have a kit of this basic instrument which can be given to the field staff. So whenever they go to the field, they can carry these instruments and they can measure the important basic parameters. I think I'm glad to know that Chhattisgarh, a couple of weeks, they have organized training and they have given this kind of kit to all the field staff to quality monitoring of the basic parameters. Some examples from the sites, you can see that some practices, it's not only the material testing and the laying the pipe, it's also important that when you procure the pipe at site, how it is being stacked, how it is being loaded, how it is being unloaded and laid. So every important activity has to be taken care. So it's always good practice to have the proper stacking of the pipe material. When we talk about the pipe bending, especially for the metallic pipe, if you are using the plastic pipe, SDP pipe, they are flexible, you can bend up to 25 hours. But especially for the metallic pipe, there is certain limitation. So you can't bend DI pipe more than 5 degree or 4 degree depending on the dia. So once you try to bend more than that, what will happen? Leakage will start. So whenever there is a requirement of the bend, kindly use the special fitting bends rather trying to bend more than the prescribed limit. Similarly, in case of GI pipe, what we have observed, rather using the proper masonry and jack to bend the pipe, normally the manual measure is used. Either hammer, they will reduce the pipe size, bending the pipe, or maybe along the tree, they will bend it. So this reduces the dia of the pipe and which has hydraulic inefficiency in the system. So kindly avoid the manual bending of the pipe, especially for the GI pipe in the site. Laying is one of the most important, activity where we found a lot of improvement is required. So as per the codal provision, if you are laying the pipe on the road and surface, minimum 1 meter depth is required. Although on the BOQ items you have 1 meter, 0.9 meter, but a lot of places I have seen that pipe are being laid above the ground. Some places, you can see the example I have given here, even though pipe is laid in the road, hardly there 10 centimeter trench depth is there in place of 1 meter. However, BOQ says that pipes should be laid 1 meter below ground. So kindly ensure that proper trench width is there. Minimum 200 clearance is required because in future if you have to do the maintenance work, then at least there should be some space to use the equipment for the maintenance work. Especially in the rocky strata, when you are laying the pipe, kindly ensure that the bedding is smooth, there is a sand cushion, so that there is no any, like especially you are using the plastic pipes, then it may damage the plastic pipes, so that we have to ensure. And especially placing the valves, I have seen that in most of the places, there is no detailed design of the profile of the pipeline. So normally we get the layout drawings. This doesn't include the levels, what is the left of the ground level, what is the left of the pipe level. So there should be proper L section. In case we don't have the proper L section, the TPI agency's responsibility to examine the valve has been located at the appropriate place. So air valve should be normally at the peak of the point. A score valve for drainage purposes should be bottom of the pipe. So these are very basic things which we have to take care while laying the pipeline. This is the very typical examples of the manifold. Normally this is used in the hilly region. So one of the case what I found that there are about 30 households and directly from the tank, individual connection is given to the household and you can see the header is not having the appropriate size. And each household from the tank connection is given 1 kilometer, 500 meter. So what we can have, rather having all the connections from the reservoir tank, we can have the decentralized manifold connection. We can take the main distribution pipeline, we can have the branch, and we can have cluster-based approach. Maybe 5 household, 6 household, we can have manifold, and we can give 6 connection. Again, from other branch, we can give other connection. This will make more easy for operation maintenance point of view. This will also reduce the cost of the pipe, and especially when you are using the plastic pipes. I can see here the SDP pipe is used, and maybe construction might have been done about a couple of months back. After 2 years, 3 years, the pipe is not going to sustain. It will be brittle because it's exposed to sunlight. GI pipes, if you are laying above the ground, that's quite acceptable. But certainly, please try to avoid laying of the plastic pipes above the ground for the long life. FSTC, this is the gray area, what I found. Most of the places, I will say that, except few states, I have found that there is no consistency in providing the FSTC. Some places, FSTC through MDV pipe, SDP pipe is left open. You can see the right picture. Left side, see, they have given the like a pipe of the ground with a proper tap. However, there is no pedestal support. Some places you can see that the house connection pipe is laid to the drainage line, and there is chances of contamination. So even though your water is treated at treatment plant and you are doing disinfection of the tank, but once you lay the pipeline connection point inside drainage, it is going to contaminate, and we are not going to have safe water to the consumer end. So kindly ensure that this kind of connection is avoided. So I have given some best practices. I have seen that. You can see left side, whenever there is a scoop having the wall, you can give the FSTC along the wall with the proper support. And if you are giving FSTC in the open area, you can have the proper support, pedestal support, proper platform. Just for the benefit of the audience, I've also given the standard drawings because I couldn't find any standard design drawings from the state during the visit. So this drawing can be used. You can see the pipeline is being laid below the drain line, and there's a proper height of giving the connection, pedestal support is there. Similarly, this drawing shows that how is the properly your platform has been created. Beside the platform, there is a soak pit. So pedestal support, platform, soak pit, this is the ideal arrangement for that. I do agree some places there is no provision of pedestal platform and the soak pit in the BOQ item. But good practices, what we have seen some places, that as a part of community contribution, they are using this kind of things. I want the pedestal support and platform. So that can be also adopted wherever there is no BOQ item as a part of community. This is about the scaffolding. This is a health and safety issue. One side you can see that tank having a staging height of 20 meters, bamboo is being used for scaffolding. So this can create a very health and safety issue. Right side, good example. So still the scaffolding has been used with the proper support. Other example of the tank, so we can see that plywood has been used for the shuttering. BOQ item suggests that there should be steel shuttering or maybe plywood of minimum 20 mm thickness, but hardly here I could find that 5 mm, 6 mm thickness of the shuttering being used. There were no drawings, so without drawings, this tank was being created, so there's no proper reinforcement of spacing, there's no cover. So certainly this tank of created, this is going to create problem in future. Right hand side, you can see the tank. So what is happening when we have like a tank, normally for the inlet pipe, outlet pipe, normally we are drilling the tank. So rather drilling after the post constructor, there should be a provision of the puddle flange so that during the casting the concrete, puddle flange can be provided so that monolithic structure is there and chances of leakage are avoided. Because major cause of leakage, I have seen that wherever you have the inlet connection, outlet connection, seepage starts. But if you have during the construction this kind of arrangement, we can avoid the seepage from the tank. This is one typical example. This is very newly constructed tank. And I could see that on the ground level, near the plinth area, ground was not compacted. So the crack has developed at the bottom of the tank and seepage has started flowing out. So this is also important feature that when you are casting different batches, it's important to give the shear key and have the provision water bar so that it can avoid this kind of seepage. Other important thing that when you have the RCC tank or any reservoir, kindly make sure that level of inlet, outlet, overflow done in proper way. Some places we have found that inlet and overflow are keeping same level on top of the tank. So there is no provision of freeboard. So if your water is coming and outlet is closed, where water is going to flow. It is going to come out from the manhole, or there may be this kind of problem will start. So make sure that there's a proper freeboard and inlet and outlet are in the proper way levels. This is one of the typical example of a pump house and valve. So we can see that we have installed the pump, but there is hardly any space for operation maintenance point of view. So valve on the delivery side is very close to valve. If tomorrow we have to replace the valve, we can't use the equipment, other things. So while laying the pumps, equipment, machinery, kindly ensure that we have the proper dimension of the equipment which is going to install on site in advance, and make sure that whatever structure design you have, either for the valve chamber or for the pump house, that will accommodate the equipment, keeping in view the operation and maintenance point of view also. And especially when you have the pump house at 2 level, basically this pump house at 2 level. So whatever the leakage and water is coming, that is stagnant in the water. So if the pump house is 2 level, there should be a provision of sump so that in case of maintenance or leakage, water can be drained out and hygiene can be maintained, those things. So these were few slides, and this one is that about the signboard. So some places we have found the signboard there, but good practice wherever construction we are doing, either for the treatment plant or the overhead tank, kindly have the proper signage board. It gives you like when the work was awarded, details of the scheme, project cost, when it started. So it's good practice to have signage board also. So this was all some example giving you the bad practices and good practices, of flavor, what's happening on the site all over across the country. And this is my last slide. In the beginning, we mentioned that the number of manpower deployed at the site is very less in terms of both capacity and capability. And here example, you can see that the per scheme number of TPI employee in case of Andhra, it is more than 1,500. And there are about 11 states where one TPI staff is managing more than 100 schemes. There are 5 states where one TPI agency 50 to 100 states. So practically for any TPI agency, it's not possible to monitor because the quantum of work, what is happening all over the country, we need the adequate number of staff and experienced staff to do the proper quality monitoring system on the site. Yeah, this is all from my side.
Next slide.
It's not happening. Yeah.
Oh, take it.
Yeah, this one. So this we can see that some states have their good examples. So they are having like 1 or 20 up to. So up to 20, 25, I can see that, okay, now they can manage. But beyond more than 25 or 50 schemes, it will not be possible. So they need to have those things. So that's all from my side. So thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rana. I now request the team from Tata Consulting Engineers to make a quick presentation. We request you to limit your presentation to the important aspects, something that you are doing as a part of this work to improve things on ground. We've seen the PPTs in-house, pretty lengthy PPTs, but we'd request you to please focus on such practices that you have adopted that have helped you in delivering on those parameters which Mr. Rana just pointed out.
And maybe because if anyone has any comments or questions or doubts basis the presentation, Mr. Rana's or any other, they could be asked to raise their hands in the in the system, and we will call upon them to express this.
Yeah. So TC, hand over to you.
Yeah. So hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So as a TC, I'm working on JJM project in Maharashtra as a team leader, and I'm presenting here right now with the quality and safety observation, what we've seen and what actions we are taking to improve that. That is the thing. So right now we are working on the central Maharashtra 13th district in JJM. We can have the next slide. Yeah. So we have various types of experience in the water sector. I work, my companies work in the Uttarakhand, Delhi, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, various projects. And because of all these projects, we work on that. So we have the experience of water supply and all this structure. So with that experience, we are working on the JJM. This is the first project we are working on a JJM project. And in this, we observe certain quality observation which are repetitive. And right up till now, we have allotted around 8,000 schemes, and out of that, around 3,000 schemes already completed the inspection, and we are proceeding further. So, if you see first photographs, there is a concrete joint, which is of tank, which is because of there is undulation in the surface, because of the poor quality of formwork. They use the old plywood or another material, and not regularly use the MS formwork or good one the formwork. So that's because of that these issues are coming. Then in JJM, mostly all the schemes are auto returning structure as like a ESR and all these things. But if you see, let's say in second photograph, there is a concrete joints where the leakage is happening because there is a wrong practice of concreting. There is a no proper compaction is happening over there. And as Mr. Rana told, there is nobody is using the water bar and all these things, latest technology which can be used. And then further is the quality issues for the wall chamber. And here you can see how the wall chambers are put up in the chamber, and due to non-standard material use and poor skill set, because mostly these contractors are new one, or not having that practice of construction or quality practices. So that's why all these practices we can see. And fourth photograph is concrete mixing, where unregular mix proportion and mixing on the ground itself. At least we are pushing them to use the MS tray and use properly mixing procedures. Then further is a concrete cover. If you see the RCC structure, cover is the important parameters for the concrete, and there is no proper cover is giving for reinforcement. Because of that, we can see the after some time we can see the rusting of the reinforcement, all these things. And then further is insufficient excavation depth. In tender or in BOQ specification, there is a 1 meter specified, but if you go on site, we can see the 400 mm, 300 mm that excavation. But we push, and our team is pushing to do the re-excavation and putting the pipe. But there is a rework is happening. And in this another photographs is no proper lapping is left for reinforcement bar. So how to lap that? And there is a serious concern for this, because this is a high rise your ESR structure. And mainly if you can see, there is a safety issues also. You can see one worker working on that height. If anything happen, then there is a safety issues, because there is a major safety issues we are observing on the sites. Then another photographs is stacking of the material. Is some places we can see the stacking of material is proper, but in various places we can see mainly reinforcement or pipes are not properly stacked, or this thing. So then for electrical and mechanical things, uh, whatever the cables used for pump and all these things are not as per specification. They are using whatever the random size getting used. So not as per specification, we are pushing them, or we are asking contractors to use the all specified material and get it checked before installation, or before putting that cables. Then further is your pump connections, where the stud bolts were to be used instead of machine bolts. Then flange gaskets are not used for certain connections, from where afterward there is a leakage are happening. Then there is a electrical things also there. There is a DB panels are open. Your wires are open, and you can. There is a no gland for cabling work. All are getting sealed in electrical work. Then there is a earth pit. It requires a proper pit chamber and for PVC conduit for the cabling work, but there is a open and direct grid cables, which is a safety hazard for all the workers and afterwards also. This is a air wall which are seen. That brand of air wall has to be seen and has to be approved make. And then a provision of the air wall has to be on 500-meter minimum interval actually, and that height has to be 1.5 meter, and that is also not provided properly. Then again further is your electrical connection, which is has to be through ELCB or RCCB of 30 MA, which has to with industrial top, which is not seen. Then I am not even shown all these photographs. There are certain major quality issues which are repetitive or which are getting seen, as like major honeycombing in the concrete because of not properly compaction is there, concrete mix is not proper, then curing is not happening on certain, because if you do the concreting of properly but curing is not happening, then there is a compressive strength of concrete is not proper, then line plumb of RCC structure is not in proper way, then some places we've seen that RCC work means reinforcement tying is happening, but there is no PCC at all below the beam bottom and all these things. Though we have, there is a new, because of the there is a various of types of contractor which are new for this work. They don't know what is the sequencing of the work, so we have to try to explain them how to work that. Then a joint of brickwork and RCC work which is not proper and not properly treated. Then plastering quality also poor. Then material like aggregate, sand, bricks are not specification as per specification and poor quality, not properly tested. Some places we are not getting the test reports. There is only material which is not getting tested and getting used. Then farmer getting use of a poor quality, because of that earlier I shown certain photographs also. Then RCC structure, all these approved drawings are there, all these things are there, but when you check the actual dimension of the RCC structure is not properly maintained, all these things. Then waterproofing quality is not proper. Then compaction of the earthwork is not happening properly. Because of that, afterwards the RC structure getting settle up and there is a cracks getting formed. There is an action taken to improve the quality. As JJM works, we are working in Maharashtra. There is a allotment letter coming from the executive engineer, and as per their inputs, what stage are their that schemes are, we are doing the third party inspection time to time, and along with the SDSM Mumbai office of we have the interaction section with the government officials and all these things in Mumbai, and we prepare the detailed report, third party inspection report, how to gather all this information, or what information we have to check and what documents we have to check, that we are done, and accordingly we are so all reports are similar one, and all data which is required by the government and all officials or all persons are getting in that reports, that's we prepare there. Then when after giving the site report also, that report comes afterwards, because we submit to executive engineer, that comes to Xerox and all this printing is happening, and then comes to contractor. Instead of that, what are the major quality issues, we are putting the site instruction, that's our initiative, we are done, we putting the site instruction, and what are the major quality issues, we are writing there, explaining there to contractors and giving the site instruction and asking them with suggestions, asking them to rectify the quality issues. Then this escalation, if this whatever the quality observation we are observing, if there is a not compliance getting complied, we are escalating to ZP team or government team. With help of them, we are pushing them to compliance on this site instruction, and all this site instruction or compliance or all quality issues get recorded, and correction action detail along with the photographs also we are maintaining that. We are using the one TC Smart Site app, which is all my 13 district having. In that, we are uploading all these reports, so all team members or all my team members can refer the reports for suggestions on what repetitive quality issues we can get that. And this is the quality issues right now we are working on. And in further to action to improve the quality is action for better quality is whatever the latest technology you can use, as like water stopper, then waterproofing new technology we can use there, then use of good formwork or vibrators to better compaction. Then mix of design is has to be with volumetric or proper way, and then water cement ratio has to be maintained, and proper mixing technique has to be used. Use of quality material with proper testing and reporting, this is the betterment of the quality. Then for further going further, there is awareness about the quality. We have discussion with the ZP team along with the contractors and workforce also. as a TC, as under CSR activities or any other this thing, up till now in 50 talukas or 50 places, 60 places, we have done the presentation to local community team and contractors also what is the good quality and what is the bad quality, because they cannot understand the theoretically, they understand the photographs, what is the bad quality, what is the good quality. That gives us the better result in future, so we can do the awareness about the quality for the contractors and workforce and all these things. So we have day-to-day improvement in the quality. Then we have to arrange the training. We already, as a TC, under CSR activities, we are already arranged 20-30 trainings for contractors or ZP team, junior team, to what is the third party role is there, what we are seeing, what observation we are taking out, and what is the quality, what is the good quality, what is the bad quality. All these things we are doing, and accordingly we are doing the training point to all these things as like what is the third party and what is the another things. Then in this scenario right now we are discussing about the quality, but parallelly safety also is important parameters which is lagging behind in all schemes. We are pushing for the quality, but safety is a major concern for us. We already have the training with the local team or workforce for the safety, to implement certain places they are using the safety shoes or helmets or some places, but now we have to have more training on that, awareness about the safety, mainly use of PP, basic things as like a use of PP, use of steel and aluminum ladder during construction of ESR, then safety harness belt while working on the height, then the hard barricade for excavation pit, and then electrical connection has to be through ELCB, RCCB, and that awareness has to be happen, and that in as per that quality as well as safety also important parameters. So we have to work on the safety also.
Thank you for the presentation and bringing out the work that the TC is undertaking in Maharashtra. I'm sure that this would have given insights to other TPIAs who are working in almost equally challenging circumstances in various states in the country. Uh, Ma'am, if you permit, we now request one of the NWEs to share his
Yes.
observations
Yeah.
about water quality.
Sure.
So, can we have Mr. Nirmal Chittoda? Mr. Nirmal Chittoda, please, the wash expert.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, Nirmal ji,
Yes, sir.
please
Yes,
carry
sir.
on.
I'm Mr. Ishwar Chandan, wash expert. Good evening, madam. Today I'm
Ji, good evening.
sharing my few experiences during my service tenure as a chief engineer in Rajasthan and as a wash expert. The work of JJM is going on in such a big manner that skilled labor are not available for construction of RCCSR. One big contractor is constructing more than 150 ESRs. So the skilled labor is a problem nowadays. For that, what we should do, the TPI and the department, PhD department should organize a seminar or a workshop. The person who is working by hand should know what he should do. Like RCCSR, they are frameworks. 1 meter, after 1 meter, we put second framework, then third framework, then fourth framework. So if it is a one person who is constructing all the time, then the quality will be much better. If another hand changes, the fitter changes, the mason changes, the quality will not be that which we want. Third thing is that the water training structure should be immediately test for the water tightness. That will give a very good idea, and continuity of the work is the most important thing for having no leakages. Third thing I observed, the FTK. FTK is a very good thing that we can implement in the field. I have seen Kerala and West Bengal. They are testing very nicely. They can test all the 3 to 4 parameters. Any 5 movements from ASHA worker, they are very good trained. So good work they have done. Third thing is the OHSR. The space between OHSR is nicely utilized by the Kerala and Assam. They have constructed the district laboratory over the two bracings of the OHSR. This is a very good practice. It saves the economy and saves the time and money also. The FST connections is the what we have assumed that it will be at one place inside the house. But nowadays the living pattern of the society has increased and they are taking connection everywhere, like in the bathroom, in the kitchen, in the office, in the hospital, and
I think you've got disconnected. Let's have the next speaker.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Nirmal.
Yeah, I'm
Jay.
here, sir. Uh, Please share my presentation.
Mr. Nirmal, we request you to, do it in 5 to 7 minutes because we would
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
give more
Yes, sir.
time to the colleagues who have joined.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Uh, Good afternoon, all, everybody. Uh, what we have observed, the best practices that TPIA staff is experienced staff, and the engineers deployed in the advocate number as and the appropriate stream and as per the requirement of the water supply schemes. Here I would like to comment one thing that there is a difference in MVS and SVS. In MVS, whatever number deploying, if they are deploying the same number in SVS, then it is difficult to monitor the SVS because in SVS number of contractors are more and number of sites are more, and in MVS it is controlled. TPI engineers testing equipments and pipes, etc. at manufacturer's place as per approved QAP. These are the best practices. What we have observed, TPIA engineers witnessing material testing at site, especially this fine. Please backward.
आप यहाँ से कोरिलेट कर लीजिए अपने साइट विजिट
Yes,
से.
yes. And these are the few site photographs, best practices, this TPI and this use of non-destructive equipment for this measuring the thickness of GI coating. These are the, TPI is witnessing these concrete compressive strength. They are witnessing the concreting also in some places. Next, please. These are the, they are witnessing the house tape connection with the flow control valve, which is the most important in the this JJM. And these are the issues which we have observed that deployment of fresh pressures, and they are deployed independently, not with the mentors, and deployment of engineers of the other streams, deployment in inadequate number of technical staff. And the most important thing is changing of staff frequently. Every 3 months or 2 months, engineers are changing. And the poor coordination with the department and Gram Panchayats also, visiting field only for verification of measurements, and sometimes only issuing the certificates without going on the ground. It is just, and also this at few places is poor workmanship when the construction works are allowed with the certain notes only, and that notes are also these ATRs are also not observed, allowing house connection without completion of source, service reservoir, and transmission lines. It is also an important issue that house connection is given and the water is not there. So people are unhappy with that situation. Poor quality of work with the observations and not monitoring the ATR, not evaluating the yield of source, especially in the case of open wells and tube wells, ground sources, where the yield is the most important. And some after a few months, sources are dry and the schemes are deformed. And not much knowledge on new technologies, allowing poor centering, shuttering, scaffolding, as I already told. Uh, Quality aspects are ignored, safety aspects are also ignored, and necessary documentation is missing. some few photographs I'll share with you. These are the insanitary conditions of the tube wells, no concrete ceiling, no these wall chambers. So leaving the open mouth after the work, which may, if something will go inside, it will not come out, and choking will be occur, and poor staking of the pipes. Next, please. These bamboo staking, bamboo scaffolding work, poor concreting and poor plumbing also. So these these are the above ground, all these GI pipes and without ferrule connections, and everything is on the road. These hanging meters, and see the tape connections without tapes, only with the walls, and these all insanitary conditions. So it can be given importance. And see one more thing, that material is checked carefully, inspection has been done, but the combination of this different duty pump sets installed with the one delivery line and without these checked walls, they should also see these things. Not only this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nirmal. I now request our team from Chhattisgarh to share their initiative. Quickly, please, 5 to 7 minutes. Chhattisgarh. So, since we are short on time, we request colleagues to quickly respond. Chhattisgarh, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Please share with us with everybody what you are doing in terms of ensuring quality of works under JJM in Chhattisgarh.
Sure, sir. I'm Sabeke Sahu, Chief Engineer, Chhattisgarh, posted at Jagdalpur. Uh, these are the things which have been discussed, that 80% cost of the water supply projects are material. And during implementation, we have to control the quality of the work. So we have here to go control the quality. First, we should know what are the norms, guidelines. Then we should plan, document in the tender, and we during implementation. What we did in Chhattisgarh, I will go quickly. That it immediately sourcing of the quality of the water at source. With digital instrument we are using to have the initial quality of the water of the source, like pH, TDS, iron fluoride, chlorine, which is abundant in Chhattisgarh. If it is okay, then we go further for the execution. Uh, we have introduced digital instruments. First, we need this hand exa so that we can check the thickness of the pipe, this by digital screw gauge, vernier caliper in inner diameter, outer diameter of the pipe, as per the guidelines, as per the BIS standards. Then we use this gene coating meter. We are exclusively installing solar power pump, and in solar power pump MS GI coating, zinc coating is there. So we use in the site to measure zinc coating as per MNRE guideline. The thickness of this zinc coating should not be less than 120 micron, and for other pipes it should be more than 28 micron as per the guideline. We are using this sometimes if epoxy is used in the storage tank or surface of the pipeline, then thickness of this epoxy coating can also be checked in the field. That we are, this instrument we are using directly in the field of quality control. Then for the DI pipe also, external diameter, wall thickness, zinc coating, bitumen coating, internal diameter, all things can be checked in the being checked in the field for DI pipe. We use this digital spring balance. Sometimes it is required. What is the standard weight of the material per meter? This is available, prescribed in our guidelines, BIS standard. Then we use measuring tape to measure the depth or width of the trenches. This is the important rebound hammer. for non-destructive testing of the concrete work. On the side, we can get what is the strength of the concrete by this rebound hammer. We use this magnetic compass to fix the direction of the solar pump. Our solar panel should face south direction. So for this, we use whether it has been installed in proper direction or not. We use this angle digital degree protector. So, one fixed direction, one fixed inclination of the solar pump. We use this multimeter for the measuring volt and ampere of the solar or other electrical equipment. We use this wire gauge for the thickness of the wires we use in our water supply system. We have deployed TPIs. 13 posts are required: team leader, 2 quality control, 10 field engineer for 100 crore work. Maybe a SBS, maybe a solar, or maybe MVS. And these are the scope of work for our third-party agencies. These are the roles and responsibility of the pipeline worker. They have to check depth, width, and diameters of the pipe thickness, and we do post-delivery check also. We send the sample to CPET again. Initially, we get the report from CPET. Then thickness can be checked at site. We have installed muffle furnace at all the division level, so we can have the one quality control of S content of the PVC pipe, and we send to CPET again for third party. Then we use in our work. FSTC work, we are dedicatedly meeting what is shown in the picture. Flow control valve, then composite pipe for connection, the tape we are installing. Overhead tank, all the we are concrete test, mixed design before execution of the work. All material test we are doing, and we are asking TPI agencies to take all these parameters also. Pump, we are using 5-star rated pump, panel, suction ISI mark, suction pipe, etc. And panels MCB are installed in wooden board inside the pump house. Intake well, also more of the concrete work is required near to the bank of river. We are using most of the concrete test for that. Water treatment plant location, while preparing DPR, we fix the location, and all the checking is done as per drawing design of work. And what we do, the TPI should make a work register. Work register is especially prepared by TPI agency, showing name of work, agency, agreement number, estimated cost, and TPI measures in work register, enters particulars of the item, their quantity, what has been executed, and get it signed by their engineer, third party engineer, our departmental sub engineer, VWSC member, and the sign of the contractor. This practice we are doing in Chhattisgarh. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sharing your experience, ma'am. We had requested Karnataka also. So, Karnataka team, can you quickly share your initiative in terms of quality of works, and then we open for discussions and questions. And I'd request all to please keep on posting your questions in the chat box. We have been seeing there are a few questions. We will respond to all the questions that are posed in the chat box. So can we have the team from Karnataka to present? Chief Engineer Karnataka.
Yes, sir. Good evening, ma'am. I'm the Chief Engineer from Karnataka State. I have, instead of going into the presentation, quickly let me briefly tell as to what Karnataka is doing exclusively in other way than what the other states have been doing and whatever we have heard now. One thing is that that we are doing is we have different works for in-village portion, and the bulk water supply is taken up independently. So we have got multi-village schemes independent of the in-village schemes. And for all in-village works, we have a TPIS for each of the districts. So each district has got one TPI, and we have provided sufficient number of staff to have the quality check. That is one thing. And the other thing is that for project management consultants we have for each of the multi-village scheme. Each multi-village scheme independently has got a project management consultant team with sufficient manpower, and that too they are given all the activities listed out as to what action they are to do, and what is the list of activities that they are supposed to do. That is one thing with respect to multi-village schemes for project management consultants. The two other specialties that we have in Karnataka, one is with respect to the pipes. Since the multi-village schemes have most of the component as the pipe work there, and most of the pipes now are being used are from HDPE, and we have empaneled the CPET as the single loan institute to monitor and to test independently the quality of the pipes. And the other specialty is that all the pipes samples are collected by CPET staff themselves. They are supposed to collect the sample on their own. The department engineers or the contractor will not be giving the samples to their laboratory. CPET staff are empowered to collect the samples on their own by deputing their own staff and giving us the test results. That is one specialty that we have. And the other thing which the Karnataka has got is the one cell specially created for monitoring of the quality. We have got a state quality monitoring cell created at the headquarters, where we have empaneled state quality monitors. Those are the retired chief engineers, superengineers, and executive engineers with vast experience in the planning and design of drinking water supply projects. So those engineers who are empaneled are around 80 in numbers in our state, and they are empaneled after strict interviews, and selection process is done properly. So, and these SQMs, what we call as state quality monitors, they are given each district every month to visit, and the habitations of the villages are also identified, and they are supposed to inspect those habitations and villages, the all in village works, and they are given exhaustive pro forma, wherein they check all the parameters which we need for the efficient and quality work of JJM. So those, based on those performance, they are supposed to give the gradings similar to what is given in other programs also, like satisfactory, requiring improvement, and unsatisfactory. And those gradings are immediately communicated to the field staff there, and immediately rectification is done. And only after the rectified work is inspected again by another SQM, we make payment for such works. And not only that, we monitor the quality of SQMs also. So this is a regular process going on. This is all about Karnataka. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that those details with us and with everybody. I now request those who would like to ask a question
Can
or
we
make a
first ask
suggestion.
Mr. Rana to respond to questions
Ji.
already received? And in the meantime, people can think through if they want anything more.
So if you have a question, please do raise your hand and we'll prompt you. Or otherwise, you can also post your question in the chat box. If you have a suggestion also, you can raise a hand. There are a few questions in the chat box. Mr. Rana will take up the technical questions. I'll just clarify two things based on what is posted in the chat box. One is that we will be putting all the material of today's meeting on our website. We'll create a link on the website for quality of works, and under that today's meeting, and there you'll have all the presentations that were presented or were available. Even if not presented, those will be hosted there. Because of the paucity of time, there were a few presentations that we are not running through now. And we'll also be sharing those PPTs in the state groups and various other forums. We also in the process of setting up some sort of a virtual platform for a regular lecture series on water quality, which should provide all the interested people, the TPIA engineers, our own field staff, administrative officers, uh, even representatives of contractors, etc., to gain further insights on various aspects of quality in terms of implementation, in terms of what to do and what not to do, and how to how to make sure that the quality of implementation is up to mark. Uh, we will inform you as and when we operationalize that mechanism, and would request you to take full advantage of such initiatives. Uh, Secondly, we could see that there is a request from a few TPIs in the chat box that there is a need for training of their own engineers. Honestly, so far we have just focused on capacity building of the field engineers and panchayat representatives and other stakeholders. So this is an aspect which has been light so far on our agenda, but we'll be very happy to organize trainings for engineers of the TPIAs, wherever you think a particular aspect or a range of topics for which you would like your people to have better understanding, please reach out to us. In the chat box, can we share some email ID on which they can
Maybe they can reach
write
out
to
through
us?
the state government.
Yeah, so maybe you could request your state government to reach out to us, and then we'll definitely arrange for trainings in response to any such requests. Now, Mr. Rana, please, in terms of some question on the specifications of a concreting, etc. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. One of the question on the chat box is about the curing of the OST. So there is a IS code, IS 456. There we have specified that how the curing has to be done. In case of OST, normally we use the hazel cloth or weighted jute bag to cover the concrete surface. We have to ensure that the concrete surface is not dry, it gets wetted. So normally concrete gains strength in 28 days. So ensure that during the concrete state beginning period, that surface is wetted. So that's the answer for the OST curing. Any other technical questions?
Yeah, so can we have Mr. Dinesh Kumar Upadhyay, who has raised his hand? Mr. Dinesh Kumar Upadhyay, please. Yeah, can you please unmute yourself and speak up? Mr. Dinesh Kumar Upadhyay or Mr. DK Singh?
Somebody is physically raising a hand.
Yeah, so Dinesh Kumar Upadhyay.
नहीं अनम्यूट कर रहे हैं प्लीज
नहीं, वो तो हो गया, unmute तो हो गया. We can't hear you. Can you please speak out?
Yes.
DK Singh.
हाँ he is ये नीचे जो
Okay, there seems to be some problem with Mr. Upadhyay's audio.
Mr. Raghavan.
Mr. DK Singh, Jaipur PhD headquarter.
राघवेंद्र जी को भी अनम्यूट कर दो
नहीं, अनम्यूट तो खुद ही करेंगे. Mr. Raghavendra, we can see a raised finger. Please unmute and speak. No, we can't hear. हाँ 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 नहीं तो बोलेंगे कैसे?
Yes, sir. Hello, this is Qureshi from Senesis Tech. We are one of the TPIs, and I'm speaking on behalf of Mr. TK Singh. Actually, there are a few number of items which have been slipped out in this whole presentation which has been done. And that is one of the very important aspect is the installation of water bars. Now, water bars is a
बार
जगदलपुर सी साहब माइक ऑफ कर लीजिए.
water bars are, hello.
Yes, carry on, please.
Water bars cannot be overlapped. They have to be welded in place. And that is one of the criteria which people do not know, and they are overlapping. So the requirement, the purpose of the water bar gets defeated at those points wherever the water bar has been overlapped. So water starts leaking from those places. So this has to be taken care of by everybody, and I must understand that the water bars have to be welded in place and they have to be continuous, whether vertical or horizontal or a combination thereof. Then then disinfection of the pipelines is one of the other very major issues which is being avoided by almost everywhere. Now, there was a suggestion that if we club the disinfection of pipelines with hydraulic testing, then at least both the things would be achieved at the same time and time would be saved. So we need to have an account on this, because disinfection of the pipeline contains 50 ppm of water. Now, that water which is being used for hydraulic testing, if that is mixed with chlorine with 50 ppm level, and then it is hydro tested, then both the time for disinfection and the time for hydraulic testing both can match, and of course both the items can be activities can be performed. Now, what happens, because we are running fast on the track for providing FHTCs, so we cannot wait for one activity to happen after the another activity. So a number of activities have to be done in parallel way or in a clubbed way, so that the purpose of providing a disinfected pipeline is achieved. Now, the last third issue which I would like to uh, uh, inform the committee is the operation and maintenance time, in which the quantities of chemicals have to be stored. Chemicals, the quantities of the chemicals have to be stored. Now, normally what happens that if they are storing less amount of chemicals and the lead time of supply is long, then it becomes difficult in getting those materials, and the process of
Okay, thank you, Mr. Singh. I think what I'd suggest is, uh, if you have suggestions in terms of further aspects that need to be included in this conversation or in a future conversation, please please do share your suggestions with us. We have today shared some of the good practices. I'm sure that all the TPIs which are working in the field must have evolved their own local solutions to the challenges which have been presented. So, if you would like to share what you are doing to overcome these challenges and ensuring quality of works, please feel free to share your material with us. We will, as I said, we are in the process of setting up a virtual platform through which we would like to disseminate information on this. We can also give you opportunity to share your experience at a future date.
Yeah. Rana, do you want to respond to
Yeah,
something?
there are a few questions of technical nature we could see in the chat box, so I'll hand over to Mr. Rana again.
Thank you, sir.
And but first, does Jaipur want to say something? The Jaipur team had raised its hand long time back. Jaipur?
Hello. Hello.
जी कहिए.
I'm OP Goel from Jaipur. I have few suggestions.
जी.
Hello.
हाँ बोलिए.
My suggestion is that pipe laying is one of the most key components of the water supply system, and it will be advisable that a special training program is organized for all the field engineers for inspection, to know the correct way of pipeline laying and jointing and testing, because only theoretically saying that they will do it does not serve the purpose. People, 99% cases, they don't know how to lay a pipe and how to test a pipe properly.
पर क्या
So
ये
if
एक मिनट क्या ये है जिसमें आप ये it's a very valid point कि अगर इसमें कोई if there's any lack of understanding, it can be very serious issue. लेकिन आप भी ऐसी trainings करिए और हमें बताइए अगर हमारे से कुछ ज़रूरत है तो we will also help you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are doing already. We are taking up this for training the field engineers for this, and if there is any issue, we will come back to you.
For this purpose, so that you know
Yes.
Because
we can
maybe अपने website पे आप link बना दें,
हाँ.
उसमें we should invite all states and other highly qualified
Contribute
people to
resources.
contribute training material for quality in implementation of JJM works. एक link दे दें. Rana ji, please respond quickly.
Thank you. Just to add about the capacity building, just we would like to inform that we have in panel KRC, Quality Control of India, and they are under process of developing training model, especially for the construction quality inspection. And they are planning to basically provide training to all states. So kindly when they
चलो वो तो जब होगा सो होगा.
FAQ.
अगर कोई specific issue पे देना है तो कहिए.
Regarding technical questions, one of the questions related was the freezing of the pipe. I think maybe that question related to Ladakh or maybe for Himachal. So we have requested about the first lines. What should be the first line for the freezing point? So in fact, I would like to share the example that in the Ladakh already they have done the experiment. The committee was formed.
किसने पूछा? एक मिनट देखिए, फ्रीजिंग के बारे में किसका सवाल है, क्या इशू है उनका?
गुड आफ्टरनून मैम
जी,
कारगिल
आपके यहाँ तो बहुत काम हुआ है फ्रीजिंग के, अब क्या सवाल रह गया?
यूजुअली -20 डिग्री बिलो मैंने 2 स्कीमों पे ऑल ऑफ अ सडन सोर्स डिसअपियर होते देखा मैं -20 बियॉन्ड जब चला जाता है, तो इस सिचुएशन में आई प्रिज्यूम कि वे पानी मेरा ऊपर का लेयर फ्रीज होके नीचे डेप्थ में पेनिट्रेट होके जाता होगा, तो उसमें कहीं और कोई ऐसा कोई टेस्टेड एंड ट्राइड एंड टेस्टेड डेप्थ है जहाँ पे हम इन्फिल्ट्रेशन ग्लेरिस को उतने डेप्थ पे लेके वो पानी का फ्लो मेंटेन कर सके? मैंने
आपके साथ अलग से चर्चा कर लेंगे, मे बी फॉर द रीजन्स व्हिच हैव वेरी लो टेम्परेचर्स, सेपरेट कन्वर्सेशन वी विल डू.
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू सो मच.
So one question related to the about rebound hammer performance. So at this stage, I'm sorry, I may not be able to answer your queries that about the performance, about the error and what's the accuracy level. But maybe we will try to discuss with the vendor and we will get back to you that what we write.
ठीक है. Anybody else has any?
There are a few raised hands. So Mr. O.P. Goyal. I can see O.P. Goyal, Mars and Soft Pro Bhopal. These are the 3 raised hands.
Yeah, good evening, sir and madam. This is Nandish from Mars, from Karnataka. See, the main, our focus is since this TPA is on quality control and quality assurance. Just I would like to bring one of my experience into the firm. See, the small team of TPI is working in huge number of schemes. For example, in one of our place, 10 number of TPI inspectors is working in 400, 500 number of villages, where reaching out to all the villages to ensure the quality is a bit difficult situation. And also in this situation, what I would like to suggest is involve more stakeholders like village water supply committee and Gram Panchayat as a resource person to ensure the quality. For this, I would like to draw your attention, madam. During 2000 and 2003 in the World Bank project, there was a method of quality assurance plan. There was a manual was created for a quality assurance plan, and it was training was given to village water supply committee and as well as Gram Panchayat and who are interested in a particular village. So that makes to the some extent, they also participate in quality assurance aspects like ensuring alignment of pipe or depth of pipe. And
thank you.
This kind of
that's a, thank you. That's a good suggestion, but wanted to understand something from you. Why are you not able to take on more manpower? Why are you having limited number of people dealing with large number of schemes?
Madam, this is as per contract provision. We have ensured the number of engineers, but
what is
for our scheme, 10 engineers were provisioned. Accordingly, we have taken 10 engineers as a quality assurance engineers.
For one scheme, how many schemes do you have?
This is HVS schemes, madam. This is HVS single village schemes. For 2 taluks we are handling. It's covering around 200 plus schemes.
So, as per your contract, you are required to deal with 200 single village schemes, and you are required to have 10 engineers. Is that what it is?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Can the chief engineer Karnataka please respond? Is that a reasonable
Yes.
number?
Yes, ma'am. It was the earlier provision that in the initial stage we had engaged these many numbers of engineers, but subsequently we have changed and revised it, ma'am. Now the recent tenders we have increased the manpower, ma'am.
You might want to review your existing contracts also. If the works are going on at a fast pace, and this is for all states and all TPIAs, let us not, rest content with the suboptimal situation because the contract provisions are, had not envisaged the extent of the work required. Please see if you think that it is all right for one engineer to look at 10 villages or 20 villages, that's fine. But if you believe that given your ground situation, you need more, please augment even for existing contracts. I think there should be no difficulty in adding to the HR requirement for each TPIA. Give it a thought.
Yes, ma'am. Accordingly, we have revised it and we'll do it, ma'am.
Thank you. The others also, I would request the state governments to please take this very seriously, and the agencies themselves should get back and suggest that the numbers provided in the contract are too low, if that be the case. Because this is the time when works are going at a very fast pace all over, and we don't want the works to get held up because the TPIs don't have enough manpower to inspect and certify, or on the other hand to do a shoddy job because they are under pressure and they just go ahead and give whatever certificates. Anybody else had a comment? Anyone else wants to speak up?
Kailash also from Assam.
Kailash, did you want to speak up? Karthik?
Yes, ma'am, I hope I'm audible. Hello.
Yes, yes, you are.
Yeah, ma'am, sort of picking up on what you have said, this thought will be useful for everyone. So what we have done now is, for this year, we know how many schemes we need to complete. So against
Yeah.
each scheme, we have made an assumption that every scheme will have to be inspected 12 times. And one person per day can inspect at the best 3 schemes in a day. And with 200 working days left, so we have calculated the number of visits to be made. So we calculated for Assam, we will have to have about 2 lakh inspections over the next 1 year. So with this 2 lakh inspections and three inspections per day and 200 working days, we have calculated what is the manpower that we need and what is the manpower we have, and we've asked all agencies to ramp them up by May 15.
Well done. I think that's a very correct way of dealing with the issue. I would request other state governments also to take note. Exactly, this is what we have requested you to do. Assess the ongoing works, assess the requirements of inspection, what is the capacity of each person, how many days, and then work towards getting the correct number of people as part of the TPIA teams. Thank you, Karthik. Anybody else wants to make a comment?
Soft through Bhopal.
Yeah, hello.
तो बोल दिए
हरीश कुमार हिंगोला ने रिटायर्ड ईएनसी पीएचडी जेजेएम टास्क फोर्स का मेंबर भी रहा हूं मैं
जी।
यदि आप देखेंगे मुख्यतः पूरे देश में छोटी छोटी हैबिटेशंस के लिए सोलर सिस्टम का उपयोग किया जा रहा है, लेकिन शायद न तो मेरे टीपीआई को न इन जो मेरे इंजीनियर्स हैं उनको शायद सोलर ड्रिंकिंग वाटर के लिए सोलर सिस्टम डिजाइन करने का या न तो कोई गाइडलाइन मिली, न उनको कोई अनुभव है, नंबर 1। दूसरा, जो इंस्टॉलेशन प्रैक्टिसेस है, क्या होना चाहिए सोलर सिस्टम के लिए, वेरी स्पेस ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, दिस इज अ मेजर इशू इन द कंट्री। यदि उसमें आप देखना चाहेंगे, आई विल वेरी हैप्पी। थैंक यू।
Thank you very much. Pradeep ji, please take this forward.
Yes.
Anybody else wants to make a comment? कोई सुझाव, कोई experience sharing, any comment, any problem? Raghavendra ji wants to speak. He can unmute himself and speak up. Ji.
I am unmuted, madam.
Yes.
Good evening and good evening, sirs. Good evening, madam. So here my suggestion for this, particularly for this assurance, is everywhere, wherever we visited all the states, departmental engineers are shortage and third party engineers also shortage, and the coordination between each has to be established properly. One more thing, wherever there is a shortage, for example, I will give a life example of excavation and laying of pipeline. So for each this purpose, all the peoples will go. Departmental engineer, third party engineer, quality control engineer, contractor engineer, everyone will go to this spot. Instead of that, they can make a group on the WhatsApp, let them give with geo tagging at each and every site, including the villages, so that the excavation or whatever the thing has happened completely to the satisfaction of specifications. This is first point, madam. So that wherever we'll go, even if it is 300, 900 villages, I think we are going kilometers together of thousands of kilometers of the pipe, where we are not having a proper control. Therefore, to have a control, they should have a proper balance between the departmental engineers as well as the third party, because I have seen both the peoples going to the field at the same time or the different time. Third party will say the excavation is not completed. The contractor will say completed, not completed. This is one part, man. And the second part is particularly even in third party inspectors, quality inspector who are go, they are also not having the proper training, because in 3 or 4 states recently I visited, even they don't know which is the BS standard they refer for going for excavation. So these are the minute aspects. If you give, if we give importance, I think it will be, assurance will be there. Otherwise, the excavation will be there, pipe will be there. Even with the hard rock, either put the HDP pipe on the hard rock.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very
These are
much.
the two
We
suggestions,
take
madam.
note. Yes, I'm sure NJJM taking up, but the states have noted directly. I'm sure they will take remedial action, including and especially augmenting manpower. Anybody else wants to say something? If there's no one else, should we close?
So I think I'd request that if you have any suggestion, let us keep on engaging with each other. We, as I said, will be reaching out to you again with our plan for further interactions and dissemination of information on quality of works through our virtual platform.
And in the meantime, we would, I think, request all states to organize similar sessions in your own state jurisdiction. With all your TPIAs, to make sure that what has been discussed today, articulated by various experts and speakers, is duly noted and disseminated.
And please, in the process, do identify any training needs that might be there. Please let us know. We strongly believe that there is a lot of capacity at the state level, and most of these things the state should be able to take care of themselves. But if you need any additional help from our side, or any technical, clarity on any kind of issue, please feel free to reach out to us. We are there to support the states, and through the states, the TPIs. I thank the Secretary, Drinking Water and Sanitation, for taking time out of her really busy schedule for this important interaction. I also thank all the colleagues who have joined from states, all the TPIs and their staff, my own team at the National Jal Jeevan Mission for organizing this. A special word of thanks to all the presenters who took time out and prepared the presentations and shared their views and insights with all of us. We hope to see much more focus going forward on quality of works, even as we continue to implement the JJM at a brisk pace. With that, thank you everyone. Thank you very much. And we hope to see you again soon.